My parents weren't active Christians at all. All of it, I mean, there's a lot of kids in that area. I don't think anyone I knew went to church. We weren't a churchy community at all, really. Started going to this, it was a Covenanters, which was a church-based group. And the majority of us, my age, was about 7 or 8 of us, would all go midweek to a local primary school where we could play table tennis and snooker and all this sort of thing. But we got involved in forming a football group. So we had a football team and we started to do really well. We played in a local league, and the Letchworth Covenanters. Yeah, we had, 2 or 3 leaders, and several of them used to run the football. And they would go to this local Baptist church. And they used to go as an evening service, 6:30, I think it was. We started to go occasionally just to see what it was like, mainly because some of the girls, because there was also a female Covenanter group. So it was probably more to do with that than worshipping God as such in those days. Yeah, one particular evening, probably after about a year of going to it, I was 16 by then. The minister brought up this from John 3 with Nicodemus, and there's a story about Nicodemus and being born again and believing. I found that quite fascinating, and the minister asked if anyone would like to come up at the end of the service to do a confession, basically. And I bravely went up. I was with 2 other mates. They stayed where they were, and I went up and did a confession in front of the congregation. I went to bed feeling reasonably high about it all. I went into a pretty deep sleep. Next thing I knew, I was walking along this very high bridge over a very fast-flowing river, and walking towards, it looked like an almighty party, people singing and dancing, lights flashing and all of that, and actually waving me on forward. So I walked towards them, and then the next thing I know is I'm assuming it was Jesus asking could he come in. Now, I assumed he meant it into my heart or into my mind. It wasn't very specific, but I just said yes. And my parents, when at breakfast, they thought I was on drugs. I was so in such a high spirit. And that's how it felt. Not that I've ever taken drugs, so no, but I'm assuming the same sort of effect. I was on a real high, but at the same time, I felt something inside me as well. I felt totally different. I felt as all my problems, sins, or whatever, had fallen away. I felt totally free, peaceful, and joyful. At first, I always felt, when I went back to church, I thought everyone had the same experience. I thought it was a matter of course. You became a Christian, and this is what you felt. And but I soon felt that wasn't the case. A lot of Christians didn't have that sort of inner experience, and I was just amazed that it happened. This is the thing, you think, oh, it's all written in the Bible, but it actually does happen, and that's really the most amazing thing. I wanted to do some sort of work which I felt was Christian based, and so I spent most of my adult life working in hospitals. I became a radiographer, but the whole point was being able to give some of my faith to patients, etc. So that came in really wonderful. I dealt with patients quite a lot in my later days in the NHS. I felt very much a calling to help people who are very distressed half the time. Because my life has just been fantastic. I mean, it's just full of joy and love and doing amazing things. And I feel that's the big step. You take the big step and everything else starts following. It's like a jigsaw, if you like, and it starts fitting into place.